Well, Cage, here we are at the midway point of the AFL season. Now, hypothetically, I know you love hypotheticals,
I hate
Cage.
them.
Let me throw this one to you, though. Next season, the Crows are sitting in 15th spot with 3 wins and 9 losses at this time.
Yep.
The Power are sitting in 12th spot with 5 wins, 7 losses. You know there will be a rumbling going on. If neither of those two coaches, Neil Craig, Mark Williams, to get appointed again, easy for people to say, who goes in their place?
Well, that's a $64,000 question because
I'll get more than that.
Well, they probably would. But you want to know, of course, who's available, who's out there, who would put up their hand. And no doubt, looking at the Crows situation, if that prevailed this time next year, you'd look at Mark Beckley would put up his hand. You'd look at who else would you look
Todd
there?
Viney's
Todd Viney probably
box.
would put up his hand. Now, whether they're ready to take a senior role, well, that's another interesting question. Of course, with Port Adelaide, who would put up their hands there? Probably Jason Cripps. Dean Laidley has said no. Buddha Hocking may be a contender. But again, you've got to ask the question, are they ready to take on a senior job? It would very much depend on who's out there, like a James Herbie talk about, a Jared Healy, a Gary Lyon. I don't think those Jared Healy and Gary Lyon will ever coach. I think their chances of coaching are well and truly gone. They're entrenched so tightly in the media. So, look, it's an interesting question. But
does James Hird give you instant credibility, Cage? Now, bear in mind, he's got a lot of business interests on the couch with Fox Sports. He's a busy man, but instant profile, instant like. He'd be terrific for either club, draw a crowd. Sponsorships would come in. I don't know that you'd influence him, but he'd have to be on your hit list, wouldn't he?
It would have to be on your hit list, but if I was forced to give an opinion, I'd say you got Buckley's and no chance of getting him, but he would certainly be on your hit list. So, hey, look, the field out there is very, very thin. Names just don't jump out of the wood tree, out of the woods from you.
All right, let me give you a couple for the Power first. What about Josh Marnie? He's been assistant coach with Melbourne for a while. Is something that they could consider?
Again, you'd have to talk to Josh, and again, the question would raise its head: is he ready to take a senior role? Both clubs would have to do an enormous amount of homework. Would you approach a senior coach at the moment? There's all talk about John Worsfold leaving the Eagles. He wouldn't come to the to South Australia. I wouldn't have thought so. Hey, it's a very, very interesting situation.
All right, I'll leave you with this one, Cage.
What about Mark Beckley and Simon Goodwin?
What about Nigel Lappin? He's been with Collingwood. He's been with Geelong now. He's spent some time. I think he could be the one. He played at Brisbane, of course, so he's under Lee Matthews.
But again, you'd have to do a lot of homework on his coaching aspirations, his coaching ability. I'm not close enough to the club or the person to know what sort of job he does do. But look, all those players would be looked at, all those people would be looked at, but again, it comes back to a very difficult situation. They don't grow on trees.
All right, not Nigel Lappin that's been at Collingwood. He's been with Brisbane, of course, with Geelong. Blake Carousella was the one I'm thinking of. He's been with Collingwood, at Geelong. And the reason I say Geelong is, they're at the top of the tree. So if you've spent time under Matthews, you've spent time under Bomber Thompson, you've got some idea. If you're Nigel Lappin, you've spent some time under Lee Matthews as a player. You've now spent some time with Bomber Thompson. You've have some pretty good ideas. I'm just coming out and saying, not saying it's going to happen, but we would think.
We're talking about hypotheticals.
You would think if both clubs are in the same position next year,
there'd be talk
that they'd both be struggling to get re-signed.
The rumours would be going around at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and if both clubs were in similar positions, this topic would be discussed. But hey, who knows what's going to happen in the second half of the season, General? There's talk about Jocko Williams being approached to go to the Greater Western Sydney with Kevin Shetty. That's a very strong rumour that won't go away.
Would you be gone?
I think so. I think if that opportunity arose for Choco, I think he would be crazy not to take it. It would be something that would suit him right down to the ground, and it's a very strong rumour. Look, there's Simon Goodwin out there. He's going to finish this year. There's Mark Risciuto out there.
Talk about Goodwin going to Essendon, KG.
Well, there's talk. I think if Goody could get a role within the Adelaide Football Club, I think that's what he'd prefer to do with so many business opportunities here in South Australia. Mark Risciuto's an interesting one. I don't think he'd walk straight into a senior role. So, hey.
Should Goody be like Brendan Lade? Although there was an offer there, it's time to go and get some new ideas and then come back.
Definitely an option. Definitely an option that Goody would consider, no doubt. As I said, he's got business involvement here in South Australia. But if he's dead set keen to coach, that probably would be a good idea to go to another club, learn some new tactics, work with different people. Look, it could all happen.
You'll be all right to move to Sydney with Mark Mark Williams, because you and him are pretty close.
Oh. Where you going tonight? Where you going tonight?
I'm not going anywhere tonight.
You're going to Mark Williams'
I'm not going to Mark Williams'
Yes, you are.
tonight.
Yes, you are. I got my spies on you, General. I got my spies on you.
I knew I could get a bite.
Yeah, and a big one too.
We're gone.